So I'm curious because you talked in our previous conversations about putting together scorecards so you could keep track of all these initiatives and your performance and everything, not just at the overall CSAT level, but with 44 different internal departments. How do you create a one scorecard that everybody's going to agree on, that you're going to judge? And you talked about departments are held accountable for response times and things like that. How do you do that kind of a process? Because we have a problem doing that internally within the private sector.
Part of the challenge is we're now in the climate of accountability and transparency. And with service, data matters. So we've talked about the 600 service request types that have been now digitized. So what we've been able to do now is create a scorecard that's available to counselors at this point in time through my time with the city to basically create a scorecard that shows the service catalog. So 600 types of service requests, the service level that we're supposed to attain to in terms of 4 hours, 24 hours, so on and so forth, how we're actually delivering against that service level, and the ward trends that are happening in Ward 1 versus 12, so on and so forth. So you compare wards as well in service requests. So now our colleagues in terms of other divisions that are integrated with 311, such as Toronto Water, MLS, Revenue Services, so on and so forth, they get information that enhances their ability to manage their business. The city manager now has an understanding of these 600 types and what the trends and nuances across the city, and so do the councillors. And the next eventual step would be to make that accessible to the public.
I imagine that that information is accessible internally so that you don't want to be the laggard. You don't want to be the department that is pulling the city down, that has view by the mayor, view by the city manager, view by the other departments. Did that play a factor in raising the rising tide that lifts all boats?
I think that plays a factor in a positive way and a negative way. Everyone's always afraid of data in some way, shape, or form because it can be misrepresented. Now, through a proper governance structure in which we communicate to the councillors through that, it's called the service committee. They have to go to that particular committee. They ask questions around that service request, so on and so forth. So divisions have to communicate what the trends and nuances are, show the actions or project plans or product plans, if required, to provide consistency of delivery of that service. And if not, we have to say as to why and then what the challenges are. And then you have to be accountable. So from that perspective, having a fair governance model kind of lessens some of the stress or concern and really talks about, we know we're not perfect, but we're moving from good to great. And when we look at that data from an end-to-end perspective, the numbers are actually pretty good to begin with. And many of the divisions are, I would say, either in the high 70s or low 80s. So overall, they're delivering really good service. Now, are there ways for improvement? Of course. And we're going to ask the public, because it's public money, to also tell us which of those areas are more important to them.